Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Dehn. I have the pleasure of serving Gunderson in the ITDS organization. I work with a number of talented individuals in solution design, enterprise architecture, digital transformation, virtual care, infrastructure, Gunderson Edge. I'm a member of the Matrix Performance Team, the Functional Performance Team, and the Collective Advisory Team. I love my job. I love my family. It's a pleasure to be here sharing with you who I am. I would like to start by telling you about my family. Um, I'm married. My wife Katie is in the middle of the picture I've highlighted. My daughter Emily on the far left is a senior in high school, and my son William on the right is a sophomore in college. I've been married to Katie, my wife, for 27 years. She is a compassionate, caring, registered nurse who loves the world around her and throws herself into it. I've spent all my years I've known her trying to be more like her and do the same. Our daughter, Emily, she and I spent my childhood growing up vacationing in tents in the rain with bugs. As as I had started a family of my own, we enjoyed going to Disney World together, which was amazing experience for me. In particular, my daughter and I love that more than anybody else in my family. She and I also have a bond. We spend a lot of time skiing and snowboarding together. As I've aged through life, I've switched from Nordic skiing to downhill skiing, so gravity could help me do some of the work. Um, and for family vacations, this is a picture of my daughter. We really enjoy planning trips across the United States to see the great outdoors and spend a lot of time sightseeing in the areas we visit. My son William plays basketball in college. I love this picture because not only says a little bit about him and what his interests are, but it also embodies this notion of resilience, which is a core value of mine. We know that life will throw a lot of stuff at us, personally, professionally. The key is to just keep pushing through it. Like the rest of my family, my son and I enjoy the great outdoors. This is a picture of us hiking with my identical twin brother in Montana, where we spend time hiking in the mountains and really enjoy doing those types of things as a family. We also have other members of my family. On the far left, you see Leo. Leo is a rescue dog that we had for 13 and a half years. He is a golden retriever and Australian Shepherd mix, and was a very valued member of our family. In the middle, you see my daughter has two guinea pigs, Peanut and Butter. That's a picture of Peanut in his Halloween minion costume. And on the far right, you see me and my wife and our dog Leo at a lake place that we spend most of our vacation days in the summer, spending time on the water. The boat we're in is a boat that I dug out of the woods and fixed the motor up and took it out for some joy rides. Actually, that's one of the first things that I broke with my father-in-law, that motor right there. So over a number of years, I thought it was important to figure out how to fix it and get it running. So this is the evidence that I was able to fix that thing I broke of my father-in-law's. We also enjoy spending a lot of time on the Fox River in the Green Bay area, where we call home. I mentioned I also love, so this is where I am today. A little bit about how I got here. Like any good architect, I layer my life. So at the bottom, I'll start at the bottom, and that's sort of the core of who I am. ENTP is a personality preference survey that I've done. E means extrovert. I have a preference for intuition. I have a preference for thinking, and I have a preference for perceiving. The perceiving part means I tend to be spontaneous, I take a flexible approach to the world. The thinking means I'm very logical by nature. I seek out objective truth. for how I make decisions. Um, I have a slight preference for intuition, which is this focus and desire to figure out patterns, to understand the world around me. And the way I approach my work is often from a point of view of archaeology, anthropology. I like to dig in and understand how the system works. It might be the organization, it might be teams, it might be technology. But I have a strong passion for sort of looking at the broader picture, the bigger picture, and understanding how the systems are operating together, and then finding ways to make it better, make it easier for all of us. As you move up to the other thing that I value on a core level is, and you see this by the hat, is education. I'm a lifelong learner. The things that I know and understand, I feel I learn the most from other people. So it's really important for me to make connections to others and to learn from others and to leverage that learning to contribute more and be better at what I do. And I'm very appreciative of all those in my professional and personal life who have committed a great deal of time to me and helping me succeed and improve. I also fashion myself as industrious. I like to create. I like to innovate. I tend to have a strong desire for action. Um, and those are sort of some of the core personality traits to know about me. If you go to the second layer, sort of this is sort of the my personal life on a timeline. I spent the first 30 years of my life growing up in Minneapolis. I spent my childhood working on a farm through high school, spent a lot of time tipping over a 5-gallon bucket on the ice and ice fishing. So we're a very pragmatic family. We made do with what we had. I remember a story when I was roofing a house in the winter. It was snowing on us and we were in a hurry. And I hit my uncle's hand with the air nailer, and thankfully I was out of nails. So that was an important memory, an important lesson that sometimes it's not so great to be super spontaneous, but it's also important to just sort of stop and think before proceeding forward in times of stress. I'm a sports fan. The Minnesota North Stars, the Minnesota Twins. In my childhood, were really important entertainment for me growing up. I also was a cross country skier. I played basketball for a number of years. Then I realized I was more of an outdoor person, so I chose to do cross country skiing. The candy cane is basically demonstrating that I had to wear a full body spandex suit that was different shades of blue and looked like a candy cane. I'm also known to wear black socks with white shoes, so my fashion sense has not improved very much over the years. I spent a great number of years coaching youth basketball, about 8 years. That was a humbling experience where I learned more about leadership and motivating teams than as much as I've learned from anything on how to do that. On the far right, now you know what my family really looks like. This is my attempt at drawing them. My wife, Kate, is a registered nurse, as I mentioned, William and Emily. And what we enjoyed doing as a family is a lot of boating. Professionally, the very top row, I've been at Gunderson for only a year. I've had a journey that started with being a research assistant, working on studying global climate change for the National Institute of Health. That's my attempt at the left of drawing me with a big tube that we drove into the sediment of lakes and spent hours and hours counting charcoal and identifying pollen to recreate the fire, climate, vegetation history of the upper Midwest. I worked in property casualty for a number of years for travelers, where I learned a lot about software engineering, about architecture. One of the most important mentors in my life was a man named Jim Blaha. He taught me that there's really nothing you couldn't create by putting your fingers on a keyboard and inventing the things that you didn't have available, tools of the trade. he taught me to write code that wrote code to get past a problem. So Jim was a very important mentor in my life that taught me anything is possible and has made me very optimistic about engineering, about creativity, about innovation. From there, I went to Schneider National and helped them launch a new international supply chain solution for companies as big as Walmart, or small as KTM Motorcycles. That taught me a lot about taking the skills I've learned in my professional career and applying it to a different industry, different problem set. I had the pleasure of working with individuals across the world to piece together the necessary data models to describe the supply chain of goods all the way from foreign factory through foreign port, domestic port, rail, truck, and ultimately to the store. I met a number of talented individuals who I still call friends today. Finally, in my pre-Gunderson career, I worked for a nonprofit called Thrivent Financial. Our mission, our vision, our values was all focused on helping people become more financially independent and better the communities in which they live. I was drawn to the not-for-profit nature of the organization and learned a lot from another important mentor in my life that really taught me what it meant to be humble, to be empathetic, to be a compassionate leader, and the importance of communication. And finally, I find myself at Gunderson. I mentioned earlier, I love my job. One of the reasons I love my job is I've found Gunderson to be courageous, creative, compassionate, committed, connected, all things that are core values of mine and things that I aspire to be. And I found a home, a professional home at Gunderson that I couldn't be more excited about and more energized by coming to work with you all every day. I thank you for taking the time to hear more about me, learn about me. I hope that you found something that is of interest to you or a common interest. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. It's an excuse for us to get to know each other and for me to get to know you and to learn from you. Thank you so much for your time.